Well, about 35 to 40 million Nigerians are said to be living with one disability or the other, and today is a day set aside to mark and celebrate persons living with disability. Barrister Catherine Edeh is the first female deaf lawyer in Nigeria. She's also the executive director, Voice of Disability Initiative. I also have Barrister Samson Ayodeji, also living with disability. Thank you so much for joining us, and happy Disability Day. I guess it will be in order to, to say that.
Thank you.
But very quickly, let me start with you. I mean, you are the first deaf female lawyer in Nigeria. First, let's understand what it feels like to live in Nigeria with disability, especially, deafness, and how you have coped and even become a lawyer.
It is something that I have no choice than to embrace. Deafness came when I was just 9 years old, in primary 5. It was as a result of drug injection administered on me at UNTH. The name was chloranthenol injection, now banned in Nigeria because of its harsh side effects. So doctors told me that don't worry, it is because it is too much in your bloodstream. With time, it will thin out and you will regain your hearing. Days run into weeks, weeks into months, months into years.
Right.
I did not regain my hearing. Even that time, I was hearing some loud sound. But as it progressed, I became totally, completely, and profoundly deaf. I can talk because I was not born deaf, but I cannot even hear my voice. I don't have any residual hearing.
Right.
And me, I have to embrace life. I will not allow deafness to run me. With the deafness came stigma, discrimination from every side. At first, I was suicidal. I felt like killing myself. But as it continued coming, the spirit in me started building itself. I have to stand up for myself. I have to fight it off. And I think it also worked on my brilliance because I started thinking deeper. I started planning for my future. By the time, I was in primary 5 when it happened, and I was supposed to continue in school, but I dropped out for 1 year. After 1 year, my family did not have the plan of furthering my studies. They don't know which direction to follow. But because of my tears, they decided let them send me back to the school I was in before my deafness. It was not a special school. There was no inclusion there. Their plan was just for me to get my first school leaving certificate.
Right. And
they did not allow me to write common entrance because they did not plan to send me to secondary school. Okay, I finished from the school, but I started pastoring them. All my sisters and brothers, every day they go to school, only me stay at home. The feeling was somehow, it was painful. I was exposed to a lot from a tender age. I cried and cried and disturbed. At some point, they had no option than to send me to commercial school. I did not write common entrance. I did not write junior WAEC or senior WAEC. I managed to pass through commercial school, telling myself that half a loaf is better than none.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, I would still like to hear how you became the first female lawyer, how it was going for you. But let me come to you, Barrister Ayodeji. I mean, she's talked about that sense of exclusion. And it's interesting that this year's theme for World Disability Day is fostering disability-inclusive societies for advancing social progress. How can we begin to make this a reality, talking about inclusivity or inclusiveness, if you like, both on the part of the individuals, the communities, and most importantly, the government? How can all of this help in making society more inclusive for persons living with disability?
All right, we'll start with the government.
Right.
The whole bunch of work lies on the government by providing inclusive education for persons with disabilities. They have to make buildings accessible for persons with disabilities. And also the society also, I think there is increase in awareness creation now. People actually know what discrimination against persons with disabilities actually means. So I think the society also should help persons with disabilities to grow and to know themselves and to also achieve their aims and purpose in life.
It's interesting the point you raised there, because looking at, you know, this write-up, I mean, it's been long established that 98% of public buildings in the country, in Nigeria, are still inaccessible to persons with disabilities. I guess this gives you a sense of, you know, not being included in, you know, mainstream society, which is bad enough. Let me come back to you, Barrister Catherine Edeh. I mean, you are the first female, deaf female lawyer in Nigeria. How did you come about that? What was it like, you know, studying to become a female lawyer with, you know, with deafness?
Because of the stigma I was exposed to at a tender age, I look at myself and look at other deaf. I feel at least I can speak, I can express myself. I need to fight this injustice. How can I do it? Law. But how possible? At first I dropped the idea. But when I let her enter Federal College of Education, Special Oyo, I went there first for some kind of rehabilitation, but I bagged NCE. It was there that I started learning sign language, interacting with other deaf, and I saw that there is a deaf man studying law at Unilorin, and that Unilorin has accessible facilities, inclusion. I decided to key into it. I was still at FCE Oyo. I started for UTME. I decided to apply to study law at Unilorin because they have a center. And the person coordinating the center is a member of the Unilorin Senate, the same level with the VC. Very powerful woman. I keyed into it, went there, and introduced myself to them.
And how long have you been practicing law now?
I'm not practicing like that. I'm running my NGO.
Oh,
but
great.
All of them
Great. So you're putting it to work. I want to say thank you so much for joining us, and your story definitely is inspiring, you know, especially to young ones watching you there. Barrister Catherine Edeh, first female deaf lawyer in Nigeria, Executive Director, Voice of Disability Initiative. Thank you so much, and thank you for what you do. Barrister Samson Ayodeji, thank you also for your work.